What's up, real world? Twisted Luck. Hope everybody's good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Today you're going to see, I'm going to recap really quick. Also, for this type of content, go over and subscribe to my new channel, Twisted Accountability. The link should be in the description, where soon we're going to merge all of this type of content over to that channel. So at some point, the police and Constitution related content is going to be primarily over there, and you'll see things there that you won't see here. So some of you don't care about that stuff, some of you want only that stuff, so that will help everybody. So I encountered the sidewalk cop again. You saw the video before. The cop parked on the sidewalk that said I couldn't park on the private property sidewalk, but he could park on the private property sidewalk, and we had that debate. But that's what got my attention. My question for him was if he could tell me the 5 elements of the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, because they take an oath to it. I'm never a jerk to anybody. I approach everybody respectfully. I give the attitude that I get, right? When I asked him that, he left. He took off. Said he got a call. This time he said he got a call. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I do know that he still continued to talk to me when I asked that question, but he wouldn't answer that question. That indicates to me he was avoiding that question because he can't answer that question. So I found him again yesterday. He was on the sidewalk again, the same sidewalk. Obviously, he doesn't care about that. He's going to keep doing what he thinks he can do and what he thinks that you and I can't do, but we can, and we will. And they need to realize they're just citizens too, and they're not above the law. But the conversation that went forward was disturbing and shocking. Not to him, he made a mockery of it. So what he made a mockery of is the fact that many people think that police should understand the oath that they took, right? And not just repeat after me and recite the words and have no idea what it is. He doesn't think it's a big deal that police don't know the 5 elements of the First Amendment. Now, when I first approached him, I asked him, I said, hey, you took off, and I still wanted the answer to that question. And he knew. He saw the video, and he knew the question I didn't even have to remind him. He knew, and he said, I might have reminded him, I don't remember, but he remembered right off the top, right immediately. And he said, man, you think I didn't look that up? And good. I was like, this is awesome. I'm glad he looked it up, at least, right? And he began to open his phone like he was and he started to search, like he's going to look it up again. I'm hoping you just remember it from looking it up, not look it up at any time you need to tell somebody, because no, that's not, if I know it, you should know it, right? And there are people who get mad at content like this, bootlicking type people sometimes, that feel like we should not expect police to know what the hell they took an oath to. We shouldn't expect them to understand your rights, and we should just remain quiet when they violate them. And we shouldn't do things like this to teach them our rights so they don't violate them. Those type of people, I don't even know how those brains compute, because that's definitely not me and many of you. But he told me that he could look it up, and then he told me that he tried to change the subject. He wanted to talk about the parking thing from before, but that was done and over with. I wanted this. So he tried to change the subject. Of course, because he didn't know it without looking it up. When I finally got the conversation back to that, he said, you're going to see all this in just a minute. Skip forward if you don't want to hear me talking, or if you want to understand the content and some things to look out for. I'm trying to be brief here. He said that he knew it. When I got back to it, I said, hey, do you know it? He said, yeah, man. So, and he started to open the computer, and I said, no, not without looking it up. Can you tell me what it is without looking it up? And he said, no, he can't do that. So, I was surprised, because he acted like maybe he had actually looked it up. But it turns out he only knows what it is if he's currently reading it off of a screen. That's disturbing. Everybody should find that disturbing. What was more disturbing is that he went on to say that essentially that it's ridiculous that some people think that they should know the oath that they recite. He thinks it's ridiculous that we think that they should know even just the 5 elements. And I thought maybe he was confused and thought that I was asking him to recite the entire Constitution or the entire First Amendment. So I clarified. I said, no, I don't expect you to know everything, just the 5 elements. No. He thinks it's ridiculous that some of us, and all of us should, feel that they should know the 5 very basic elements of the First Amendment of the Constitution. And they should. Everybody should. I understand a lot of regular people don't, but you should, because we should know when our rights are being violated. We should know when either the cop doesn't know it or they don't care about it, that our rights are being violated. And we should all stand up for our rights. And we should always record the police when interacting with them for your safety and your protection, just as they do. Your video is a lot easier to get than their video, I assure you. But what went on from there is I told him I was being genuine with him. This is a genuine thing that I genuinely want to find a cop that can tell me this. And it's disturbing that so far I haven't. And I've seen many other people doing the same, and they're not finding it either. That's a problem. And this is what collectively all of us together across the whole country are trying to change and work on. That's an issue. Cops like this are part of the problem. Cops like this are part of the disconnect. He essentially said that I told him it's my goal. And he said, well, it looks like you're not going to reach your goal. And then he made an indirect blue line gang type of threat. That thin blue line, right? I should have checked him for gang tattoos. Maybe I will when I encounter him again. Or gang paraphernalia. He told me that I probably won't reach my goal. Meaning I probably won't find a cop that knows the 5 elements. Other cops should be ashamed that he said that. But then he said that he hopes I keep trying, and he's sure that if I keep having these interactions, then I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but I'll get a reaction out of police that will help me out in my life. So what he's essentially saying there, and he would deny it and he'd lie about it, as he lied many times in this video, or pled the 5th in the video. He essentially says that he hopes I keep harassing cops by just simply and politely and respectfully asking them if they know what they took an oath to and asking them if they can give me those 5 elements. He hopes that because that's annoying to cops when we think they should understand it, that he hopes my rights get violated. That's exactly what it was. He will never admit it. He's a snake in the grass. From talking to him, you'll see for yourself, he is a snake in the grass. This is one that says, oh, I don't recall. This is one that turns his back when the other cop is doing something dirty and says, oh, I didn't see it. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I wasn't there. Plays those type of roles. But he made a mockery of it. He literally said it's ridiculous that people think that they should know this. And anyway, let's cut into it. You see for yourself. We'll come back briefly and talk about it. What's up?
What up?
I'm back again.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
What's up? You want to put your car up here like last time?
No, I didn't do it this time. That would have been cool if I did it though. But hey, you bolted last time.
I had to go, man. The guy was down on the motorcycle, so I couldn't really.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But did you the 5 elements of the First Amendment?
Oh, you know I know that.
Do you know it?
I think I looked up. But
So on a serious note, I've been trying to find. I do this, and I've been trying to find an officer in Florida that can tell me all 5 elements of the First Amendment. And I haven't done it yet. And that's a sad thing.
Is it though?
Well, you take an oath to the Constitution, and the First Amendment is a pretty important one, right?
But
And
do you think knowing? But here's the thing: you think knowing that will ultimately be able to determine how great a person does their job by just knowing those 5 things?
by
Being able to recite them on command.
I think, not recite them, and I'm not saying, I don't expect anybody to memorize the Constitution.
But to recite those 5 things, those 5 particular things?
I think if everybody knew those, for one, I think they should, because you know how the oath works. Repeat after me, right? And there's no test afterwards. What did you just take an oath to, right? There's no test afterwards, and I think there should be. But I think there'd be a lot less problems if they knew what they're taking an oath to.
Yeah.
And they understood, right? And because things happen all the time simply because they don't know the rights.
Yeah.
So they don't know that they're violating rights. Or some of them do and hope that the citizen doesn't know they're violating the rights.
So
right?
You know, the last encounter, you know that I could literally park right here. Were you aware that this was a private property?
I know this is private property and I can park there.
When you post,
but
when you can park here.
So what would the mentality be to even say, let me park on the sidewalk next to the no parking sign and the door that says do not block?
So
and no bikes or skateboards on the sidewalk. So the perception that you put out there is, I can do this, but you can't.
So perception of based on your feelings, not perception of what you really know. Perception, I feel because I don't think you're supposed to park there. You shouldn't park there. Versus actually taking the time, opening up a book and learning our law. Shouldn't we do that as a citizen ourselves?
And understanding that they could just park up here too?
But they can't though, because it's private property. Shouldn't they learn that this is private property?
But they could unless they're told not to.
And then guess what could happen? They get trespassed, they get their vehicle towed. So why go through that?
But exactly, why go through that?
So that's what I'm saying.
But why? Because you can do it. Why?
But would they allow us to?
But why would you even put that out there to be like, let me park on the sidewalk instead on the curb or you started it. Nobody, the store didn't call you and say, hey, can you park on our sidewalk? And they didn't request you. You're not here for a call for service.
And make sure that no one. Remember, law enforcement not there to act when crime occurs. You're also here to deter crime as well. Correct?
Right.
So and that's what I'm doing. Deter crime. I don't park here because I feel I'm. You know what? Haha. So
but from the sidewalk. So you don't understand the perception thing. That the perception is, look at this asshole.
Again, but
he can do that, but I can't. Because people think, people think, not me, but the general public.
But they're not thinking, they're on their feelings.
But the general public. Okay, you must understand the general public doesn't know about all that stuff.
But guess what I get to do?
So you put forth the perception, majority of people when they drive through, look at this asshole. He would give me a ticket if I did that. That's the perception, right? So, and that's part of the breakdown. That's part of the disconnect. That's a small part of the disconnect, but it's because of perception. So you can't pass that blame onto the people and be like, you're too stupid, you should look it up. If you know better and you know what they're perceiving, because that's what they do.
Again, it's not our job to worry about what some people perceive in their feelings. That's not our job to do. My job is to prevent crime. That's my job. And that oversees a person's feelings. You would think. Right,
but so can you do it right here?
Say what?
Could you do the same thing right here? That's not blocking traffic. This is where people park all the time to pick up groceries and stuff.
And I address that too. To let them know, hey, you shouldn't block because the store doesn't like that, and I don't want you to get trespassed from the store.
Let me interject something here real quick. That spot along the curb that I just pointed to, when I came out of the store, he just said he addresses that too, right? Because it's blocking traffic, so he doesn't allow that. When I came out of the store, he had friends of his or whatever it was, probably a coworker or something, hanging out with him, parked crooked, not right up against the curb, kind of sticking out right there, parked. They're out of the vehicle, he's out of his vehicle, they're standing there hanging out laughing. So if it's for him, it's okay, apparently. Just wanted to interject that. I'm not nitpicking, I'm just going by what he says. Also, I'm going to cut this whole parking thing short because he keeps trying to change the subject back to this when I'm First Amendment. That's all I care about here. So I'm going to cut out some of that because, believe it or not, he continued to go on for about 10 more minutes about why he doesn't care about perception of the people, why he doesn't care that there's a disconnect in how people perceive the police, feeling like they're above the law. That means nothing to him. So I'm going to cut some of this out because it is boring. We did it already. And so stay tuned. We're going to get to the First Amendment in just a second. So what about a front parking spot?
What's that?
A front parking spot?
What about it?
That wouldn't deter?
Maybe. But I choose this one.
Right. You choose. Exactly. That's my point. You choose this one. The perception, the whole thing, you're getting past the perception because you pass it off as, oh, well, people don't know better. I'm not here for the feelings. But you're not understanding your part in the perception that you're putting out, which is part of the disconnect. It's a little fraction of the disconnect. Because people are afraid. People are afraid, just like on trap. So many things people don't understand. People think, oh, it's a cop, I can't say anything. That's why people in here in this store, absolutely, 100%.
We can't solve all problems that people...
100% people have been like, why does he think he can do that all the time? And I said, well, say something. Wow, he's a cop. And as soon as I parked here, your first thing you said, why'd you park on the sidewalk? Why not? You do. What's the problem with it?
Because you did exactly what I'm doing. Literally, we're
But-
going back in full circles.
But no, you asked me why I did it. But
Because I did. Okay. And that was,
no, right. And if there's no issue,
why am I doing it?
if there's no issue,
Why am I doing it?
it doesn't matter. If there's no issue,
Wait,
why your first question to me was why'd you park on the sidewalk?
It was simply my first question. Why did you park on the sidewalk?
Why?
I'm just asking a question.
It's private property. It's got
Okay, so
nothing.
but you're not allowed to problem.
It's got nothing to do with you.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. How?
Listen.
Private property. It's not a crime.
You're right, it's
How
not
would
a crime.
that have anything to do with you?
All right, but it was blocking my view of looking at the entrance.
No, you weren't looking at the entrance.
I was.
You were on your computer.
I was on it. But
And I parked right there, and you could see around. And that's something. And see, that's another problem too. Cops will come up with things afterwards. When it's it's got like what you just did. That was an afterthought. You're like, oh well, you're blocking my view.
All right, so anything else?
Back to the original question: the 5 elements of the First Amendment. Can you be the first to do it without looking it up?
No, I can't.
You can't do it. You don't understand that's a problem? Now look, I'm not being an asshole, and even what I told you that day, I'm not doing this to be an asshole. My goal is to find one that can do it and to demonstrate you don't understand that's an issue.
I guess you might not reach your goal. I'm sorry to report you might not reach your goal.
But
I
do you
keep trying?
But do you think that's
I think if you keep trying, I think you'll get a lot of interaction with a lot of law enforcement officers, and I think it'll serve you some purpose in life.
I want to serve you some purpose in life.
I'm fine. My life is great.
Right, but you don't know the 5 elements.
I do. I just don't have to.
You just told me you don't know it.
No, I did say I don't know.
You,
I said I don't have
it's
to.
on video. We'll rewind the video. You can watch it later. You just said you don't know it.
I didn't say, but I don't have to regurgitate this to you
Right, you don't have to, but why wouldn't you?
because I don't have to.
Because you don't have to. Right. So you don't. The relation with the public, you don't. That doesn't
I think It's a
matter.
great relation. Don't you think we have a great conversation? Do you think that one answer can deter basically or make or break this whole conversation?
That's a big deal. You don't. Not just to me.
You want to ask them if that's a
To
big deal?
lots and lots
Let's
of
ask them if
people.
that's a big deal.
Lots and lots of people.
Or do you not want to interrupt them because they know this is nonsense? And you know this is probably
This is nonsense. So the Constitution is
No,
nonsense.
this conversation
The First
will
Amendment
happen.
is nonsense.
This conversation will happen.
About the Constitution and the First Amendment and the fact that you don't know
Come on
it.
now.
You don't know what you took an oath to.
on
You're
now.
saying that's nonsense. That's what you just said.
No, I did not say it's nonsense.
What are you talking? You keep going back. You keep saying things. You keep saying things and then go back and say you didn't say it.
Did I say the Constitution knowing the 5?
You said this conversation is nonsense.
Between
This
you.
conversation is about the fact that
It's
you
not
don't
conversation.
know.
This conversation isn't about this. You make it about this. I don't think it's about this.
What is it about.
I think it's just about me parking here on private property.
No, the first thing I came up, that's why I didn't park here again, because obviously you don't
Well,
care.
that's
The
what-
first thing I came up, I said, hey, remember that question when you left? I asked you about the First
Oh, but I thought
Amendment.
I
Do you
changed-
know it?
I thought I changed it though. So this
You
is-
did change. I know you changed the subject, and I figured probably because you don't know it, and I wanted to get back to it.
Okay, that's a great assumption, but that's not why I changed the subject.
But you just said you don't know it though.
I did not say it.
You did.
No. Okay.
I mean,
All right, wait,
it's
you know
here
what?
on video.
You know what? Fine. I don't know.
I know you don't know it.
Okay. Then
But the problem is, you don't care. You don't think that's a problem. You literally don't think that's a problem.
okay.
Why? How don't you understand that? Like seriously, I just person to person, how do you not understand that that's an issue? That you took an oath to something you don't know what it is. How do you protect people's rights? How do you not violate the rights if you don't even know?
Okay. I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. You know that one. Cops are good with that one. For sure, cops are good with that one. For sure. When's the last time you turned in a cop for doing something he shouldn't have done?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What's your name and badge number?
Oh, Deputy Ray.
Ray?
Yep, Deputy Ray. It's right here. Deputy Ray, badge number 8769.
Deputy Ray
Check me out on Instagram.
doesn't know
On Instagram,
the
Facebook.
Constitution that he took an oath to,
Check me out.
and you see the attitude. He makes a joke about it.
What? Make a joke
He
about
doesn't care. It's not important. Deputy Ray says the First Amendment is not important. Doesn't know it and doesn't care. You don't even care to know it.
You're a
dude.
great puppet master because you know how you saying
You
this.
don't even care
I
to
didn't
know
even
it.
say any of that.
You don't even. Yeah, you did. I mean, I'm not going to edit it out.
I hope this whole conversation is on there.
We'll hear you saying that.
Okay.
So again, to clarify, so you don't, whatever it is you're pulling right there. Again, you can confirm you don't know the 5 elements of the First
I
Amendment,
do know
right?
it.
But you just told me that you don't
I did.
know it.
I know I said. I said I didn't know it. Then I said I know it. I don't. Maybe it just came on my up. I do remember now.
Yeah, that cops are good with that too, huh? In court. How many times have you said I don't recall?
I plead the fifth.
I don't recall. I plead the fifth, right?
I
So it's a joke to you. It's a joke.
This conversation is.
You're a joke.
Okay.
You literally are a joke.
That's why you're smiling, because I'm a joke. That's the point of me doing this.
If what you're saying is true, and I must imagine it is, because I don't think you would want to portray that, you know, that you don't know the First Amendment, and you won't say it. I don't have to tell you, you know, whatever different reasons you've had. And I do believe that you don't know it. You're about to look it up. I said no without looking it up, and that's when you first said you don't know it.
Okay.
So one of the things you said is lie. So you're lying about something.
Okay.
Right? And I think it's, I don't know, I would be ashamed. Honestly, I didn't come up here to disrespect you, but you're a clown.
Okay.
You got a clown costume on. If that's your attitude,
Clowns make pretty good money.
if that's the attitude towards something serious, the parking thing, the First Amendment thing is something I do all the time. The parking thing, that's something that irks people.
Okay.
The First Amendment thing is my main goal, because that's what I do.
Okay.
I'm hoping, and most cops will agree. Well, they won't say anything, but the ones that they'll agree. Yeah, it's an issue. We should know it. You're right. Take an oath to it, and we have no idea what it is. That sounds terrible. That sounds bad, right? So you just repeat after me when you take that oath, and have no idea what it is or what it means. That's scary. That's sad. And you're making a mockery of it, basically, which now you're a clown to me.
Okay.
And I'm not being mean. I didn't come up here to disrespectful.
Again, you have your right to feel.
I didn't come up here to disrespect,
totally
be disrespectful or anything. But the way you are disrespecting all of the citizens, all of the public by doing that. I guarantee it's going to be the opinion of a lot of people.
That's still an opinion.
A lot of people.
Still doesn't make it affect his opinion.
That's ridiculous, man. And you don't even understand it. So why do you take an oath? What's the purpose of the oath that you take?
I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth.
I didn't know today I was going to be on the stand today, so I could hit you.
You didn't.
Wait, what question?
You didn't realize someone might ask you what you took an oath to?
I've always wanted to say my question is, am I being detained?
No, you're free to go. You're free to go means you're free to stay. You got anything in the car I should know about?
No.
You mind if I have a look?
I do mind, actually, sir.
Why? You got nothing to hide. You shouldn't have an issue with it, right?
Nah, I prefer not. I prefer to continue on my day about what I'm doing right now.
Come on, man. If you got nothing to hide, you wouldn't have any issue with it.
Yeah, nah, I'm okay. Thank you, though. Thanks, Bryce. Thanks for being concerned.
Want to hang out or walk a dog?
Can if you have
other kind of shenanigans.
Ask me and demand something from me. Basically, ask a question that pertains.
I'm the public, and you're a public servant. So yes, I absolutely have the right
do you need me to
to question you
also need me to come
about
there?
the oath that you took.
Do you also need me to come there and cut your grass?
100%.
You need me to clean your gutters? You need me to sweep your...
Nope, just asking you about the oath that you took. That's it. I got my grass. I got all that. I don't call the police. But I would like to know that they at least took the oath. That's sad, man. I know to you it's a joke and you're going to laugh about it.
I think a lot of people do.
Maybe you should reflect on it. Think about it. It's absolutely 100% ridiculous that you have no idea what you took an oath to. Don't know what the oath meant. Just meant you got a badge now.
Okay.
Right? That's ridiculous.
Oh, don't forget the pension, the paycheck, just everything else.
Qualified immunity.
Yeah.
That stuff, right?
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
And I have a feeling you might lose it.
Okay.
With the way you are, I have a feeling you might lose it.
Okay.
But we'll see. Time will tell. Well, you're a disappointment, unfortunately. I wanted to make you look good, or at least be big enough to admit, you know what, we should know it, and I don't. You're right. That would be the big thing to do, and I've even said that before, and I would respect the shit out of that. I'm gonna leave you with this, genuinely. I know you're gonna, you gotta act the part right now. You gotta act like you're one step ahead or whatever. But I genuinely hope, I believe 100% you don't know it.
Okay.
But I hope, regardless of what you say right now, not for me, but for everybody, that you'll at least look it up.
Okay.
So let me know what you think. I already know the bootlickers are going to be like, leave him alone. Don't ask him questions. Right? And he even, did you hear his response? I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to be on trial today. Do you really have to just be asked what you took an oath to, or to be asked something as simple as the 5 elements of the First Amendment? Do you really have to prepare as if you're on trial? His response was, sorry, I didn't realize I'd be on trial today. So I don't know something I should have known for the 6 years he said he was a cop. They should not be a cop. If you can't do that, you shouldn't be a cop. And then he went back and forth. Later he started lying. He said he does know it, but he doesn't want to tell me. And he doesn't have to tell me. And we even had the conversation. Don't you think that's part of the disconnect? Why wouldn't you, right? If that was true, that you do know it and you just don't want to tell, which that's not true. He doesn't know it. But hypothetically, if that was, isn't that attitude part of the reason there's a disconnect between the citizens and the police? Saying, I don't have to. I don't have to. And he even questioned me, do I think I have the right to question him on that? 100% I do. 110%. We all do. And we should. Cops like that get other cops hurt. Cops like that keep this disconnect going because he's got an attitude that he doesn't care what you think. He literally doesn't care. He brought up a whole bunch of things about the parking thing. And I said the perception of a lot of people are that you are doing things that they can't do. And wouldn't you want to not give that perception, right? He doesn't care. He literally said he doesn't care. People should read about it and find out. Although we can park there too. I'm not even going to get into that parking thing again because that's just ridiculous. But let me know what you think. This cop is out there, and I was literally amazed. And I even gave him several chances. I'm like, is this really how you want to finish this? Because you saw your last video. You know many people saw it, so you know this is going to be out there too. And that's what you want to portray? This is what you want to put out there? You don't want to just be decent? And he played the sarcastic act like, oh, we're having a great conversation. Obviously, he knows what he's doing, just like I know what he's doing, right? And everybody, except for the bootlickers, know what he's doing. So that's that. I'm sure I'll encounter him again. And we all need to be doing things like this. Only way to make change. Thanks for being here. Make sure you go to Twisted Luck, or Twisted Accountability. That's what it is. Twisted Accountability. The other channel, the new channel, all this content is going to end up over there soon. Thanks for being here. Twisted Luck Truth. I'll see you soon.